Hello everyone, I'm here with the second tutorial on Metasploit. I have already created a test folder here that we're going to use. Okay, and let's open up a terminal. There we go. Get over here where I want it. Okay, let's sudo up. Alright, now I'm going to go to our desktop and to the test folder and MSFPC. Now what I'm going to go over today is I'm going to go over the difference between using MSFPC and MSFVenom, which are both payload creators from Metasploit. I figured since our admin had mentioned something about payloads in a post recently, I'd do this tutorial. Now, both of them can be used for creating a payload, but MSVenom has some advantages over MSFPC. MSFPC, or payload creator, is more of a shorthand version, okay? And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Let's get that window open there, that directory. Alright, now let's use, I've already got a pre-written command here for you to follow along. Sticky windows, there we go. Okay, so if you look at the command I have here, alright, we're going to do something like that. Alright, I'm going to shrink this down a little bit more so it'll be below that. There we go. Okay, so MSFPC, then we're going to tell it what type we're using. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Let me open a second terminal window. Now you can do MSF TAC-H or TAC help to get the help file to find this out. And if you see me typing something other than sudo, it's because I have some custom aliases. I'm still actually just doing sudo su. Alright, just stuff to make it more fun, I do. Alright, so we're going to do the MSFPC TAC-H. Okay, now, so we can go through it step by step here. Now, you see, first is, you put the command MSFPC, then the type, which is going to be Windows. See, under here, listed types, then the domain, okay, then your port, and then whether you're going to use command or MSF. Now, the difference here, if you scroll down, it shows you command or MSF. Command says it's a standalone command prompt terminal to be interactive with. MSF is a custom cross-platform shell gaining the power of Metasploit. It's a interpreter shell is what it is. So I tend to prefer the MSF, and it goes over bind or reverse and that sort of thing. Alright, so we're going to go through typing our command, and so we're going to do MSF. We're going to do this for Windows, and we're going to go 195.168.1.10 for the host that we want it to call back to. The port we want it to call back to, we'll say 4444. Whoops, there we go. One too many fours. Okay, and we want it to use MSF, or the interpreter shell, and we want it to use a reverse shell. And we want this to be stageless. So instead of being split into parts, it's going to be just one file, okay? And we want to use TCP to connect back with. And let's make it verbose. Okay? Now, this is the folder that we're in. You see the path here. So you'll be able to see them being created and popping into the folder window at the same time. Move this over. We'll hit enter. And it's popped it in there. Now it's also creating, this is the cool thing about it, it's also creating the RC file, which I went over in the first tutorial, the recording or macro for Metasploit. It's doing that now. So it takes a moment. So that when you need to set up the listener for this specific payload, you can simply use that RC file, do resource, and then type in the name of the RC file, and it'll automatically set up that listener. So it's a nice little extra that it does for you there. There it goes. Okay, and you see here it created the exe, and it created the RC file. Okay. Now I'm just going to delete those. Now I'm going to show you something else that this will do. You have a couple commands for this, which is kind of neat. That you'll see either loop or batch, and I'm going to show you what that does in a minute. Batch will generate as many combinations as possible. Type, command, MSF, bind, reverse, all the different combinations, okay, of that particular exploit. Loop will create one of each type of that exploit, and this is your types right here. So it'll create that exploit in APK, ASP, ASPX, bash, etc. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. I'm just going to bring that command back up, and we're going to tell it loop. Okay, we'll hit enter, and it's going to start creating the different files over here, the different payloads. And it'll take a moment or two for it to go through them. You'll notice here it even tells you how to do a quick web server with Python. That should be common knowledge if you're doing this type of work, but for those of you that don't know, you can create a little web server with Python. I know Python 2 does it. I'm pretty sure Python 3 does it also. But on your Kali install, you should have Python 2 and Python 3 installed on it. Normally they give you the latest edition of Python and the last one that was used, the last version that was used, both. Kind of like Java. It won't cause any problems. It's creating all these now. Now we're down to the Python version here. So it's going to do the Tomcat War extension next. And then a Windows EXE. I don't know why they have EXE twice here in the help file. That's probably a goof. But it's going to do the EXE, and it's going to do a DLL. There's the EXE. And here's our DLL. Okay. And DLLs are good because you can package that DLL in another software, and it'll distribute it into the Windows system. Kind of harder for them to find, for it to be executed. Alright, and that's all of them. So, you see, it's got a whole bunch of different types of our payload here now. Alright, and each one has its own RC file. So, again, it makes it quick and easy to set up the listener in your Metasploit. Okay, we're going to get rid of all these payloads now. We don't need those since we're just doing it for an example. Okay, one more. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of MSFPC. Now, let's look at MSFVenom. Okay, so we're gonna go back to this file here, and let's clear. Let's get to the path where we need to be. MSFVenom. Here we go. And okay, so get MSFVenom. There we go. Here's a little help file for that. If you were to type in MSFVenom -H or -- help, it'll bring up this file, and that just gives us some additional help. And we're gonna use that to go over some of what you do. Okay. Here's your example. So it gives you an example here. This line right there. Now we don't have to do the full path because in Kali it's already put into our path. So we're going to type MSFVenom and then P. Now we go over here to the help file and we scroll down. You see all the different little triggers and what they're for. And here's P. Okay, that's payload. Alright, now they're using a Windows interpreter reverse shell, just like we just did, so we're going to use that too. Windows. Oh, I can't type. There we go. Interpreter. See if I typed that out right finally. Yep. Okay. Reverse _ TCP. Okay, and then we're going to put the local host. And just like MSFPC, you can use an IP or a domain name, like if you're using noip.com to do a redirect domain. You can do the same thing with this, okay? But we're going to use an IP. 192.168.1.10. And it's not listed here in the example, but we want to put this L port. And whoop, equals. And we're going to use the same port, 4444. Okay, now, TAC F, that's for format, okay? And you can list out the different types of formats, okay? Now, this will tell you, obviously, what format is, you know, ASP, EXE, JAR, whatever type of format you need the file to be in. We're doing Windows, so it's going to be an EXE. Now, what's not in this example, a couple of things I'm going to show you that makes this more powerful. If you look here where it says TAC E for encoder, okay, this is to encode the payload, and that's a good thing. So we're going to say TAC E, and we want a list of the encoders. So let's do that. MSFVenom list encoders. Okay. And actually, let me so you can see it better. Okay. Venom TAC list encoders. Hit enter. Wait just a moment before we pull them up. There we go. All right, now let's scroll up towards the top here, and let's see, excellent. That's a good rank. Definitely want excellent. It's a PowerShell, so that'll work in Windows command window. So we're going to take that and copy it, and that's what we're going to use for our encoder. Paste it in there. Okay, now we can also do, you see here, TAC A or TAC Arch, which is the architecture. Okay, so let's see, what type of architecture? Now by default it is going to go probably to x86, but let's see what we have available. MSF list Arch. Oh, it's going to ask for the whole word. Okay. spell that wrong? I did. No. Well, let's see. Maybe that's not how we call it. Let's see. I don't remember all the commands either. Sometimes I have to look again. Okay. Use list. Arches. Oh, okay. Well, they make it fairly easy. See, it says use list ARCHS. So even easier than I was trying. I was making it harder than it was. So MSFVenom, tac list ARCHS, and hit enter. Yeah, now it's thinking. Here we go. Here's different architectures. Okay, and we have all these down here. Now we could go x86, 64, and to do that we would just go tac A and then put x86 underscore 64. Whoop, 64. There we go. Okay, and now let's see. This is a very important part here. Let's pull up the help file again. Now, see here where it says tac I for iterations? That's how many times it will encode the payload. Okay, it obfuscates it. So the more iterations, the harder it is for a antivirus or defender to actually spot it or recognize it. So we do tac I, and we'll say, let's do 30 iterations. And you can do 30, 100, 200, whatever. Okay. And then our output file, so tac O, and we'll call this payload.exe. Real original. Okay. Now let's get our folder down here. Get it ready. Okay, here we go. Alright, so that's where we're at. Oh, that's not where we're at. Hang on. I forgot to change directories, but we can fix that. Copy that. So we don't have to type it all over again. There we go. Now we're in the correct directory. So let's repaste our command that we had there. Alright, and hit enter. And it's grabbing all the information. Platform Windows from payload here. The architecture says it's got to go with one. Okay, so we'll let it choose architecture, which is just going to be x86 most likely. Alright, let's try it again. You read your errors if you get an error. It'll tell you how to correct it. Okay, there you go. Saved as payload exe, and there it is, right there. Okay, and you see all the iterations it did. See, 28, 29, 30. So it did 39 iterations. Now, just for curiosity's sake, let's see. Windows from the payload. Yep, that's right. We did choose a Windows payload, so it decided to platform, and which is fine. It figured that out. Okay, no arch selected, selecting arch x86 like I thought. So, okay, and it did find that it used our encoder. So you can go crazy with putting exact specs of how you want it to end up with all these different marks down here, all these different triggers and settings. Now this one, now if you want to test it, here's what I suggest. Most of you probably have clam AV. If you don't, install it. It's great to install on Linux or Parrot, either one, and run your own antivirus against it. And if your antivirus doesn't, make sure it's up to date with the definitions. Now update it first. But if your antivirus can't pick it up, there's a good chance that your victim's antivirus will not pick it up. What you do not want to do not upload this to VirusTotal on the web. And the reason I say that is because the second you do that, if it detects the virus, then it saves that and sends it out to all the antivirus companies, and it becomes a new definition. So then your payload is no good anymore. It'll be detected by every antivirus on the market. This is why payloads are harder and harder to correct now, because a lot of little idiots and script kiddies have uploaded their viruses to test them on the web to Virus Total. Brilliant. So don't do that, guys. Be smarter than that. Okay, so we've gone over both types now. Whoop, get in the window. We've gone over both MSFVenom and MSFPC. Like I said, MSFPC is kind of a shorthand version for making your payload, whereas with MSFVenom, you can actually drill down and get exactly what you want in a much more sophisticated payload. So I hope that helps you understand a little more about them. Thanks, and have a good one, guys. Talk to you later on the next video.